So I mentioned we're going to learn 3 different methods for solving systems of equations. Let's go ahead and learn the second method now, and that's what's called the substitution method. So there's 3 steps here. We're going to pick whatever equation we like and solve that equation for one of the variables, and that could be whatever variable you like. So in this example, this is the same one we saw before. I could pick like the first equation and solve for x, or I could solve the second equation for y, or the second equation for x. Just pick whatever seems the easiest. Step 2, we want to substitute whatever we just found into the other equation and solve it for the other variable. And then step 3, now that we have one of the variables, we'll substitute that value back into an equation and find the first variable. Okay, so this makes more sense when you see it in action. It's kind of hard to just wave your hands and talk about, the other variable, the first variable, do the other equation. Let's just try it. Okay, so we already know what the answer should be to this one. It's the same system we solved before. But let's try step 1. I'm supposed to solve an equation for one of the variables, and it really doesn't matter which. Okay, so I guess arbitrarily, let's just solve the first equation for x. Okay, there's nothing special about this choice, I'm just picking something. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 4y from both sides. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 3. That's it. Alright, so step 2, substitute into the other equation. I just finished using equation 1, so let's plug that into equation 2. Okay, so equation 2 initially says this, but I now know the value of x, which is 10 minus 4y over 3. Okay, let me scroll down a bit. So let's try to simplify this and then solve for y. Alright, I need a common denominator here. Okay, so if I simplify that a bit, I've got 40 over 3 minus 22y over 3 equals 6. Now I'm going to subtract 40 over 3 from both sides. Simplifying that right side, I've got negative 22y over 3 equals negative 22 over 3. So if I divide both sides by negative 22 over 3, I get y equals 1. Alright, fair bit of work, but we got step 2 finished. Step 3, use your value from step 2 to substitute into any equation you feel like. So I guess let's put that in equation 1. Okay, so instead of just saying 3x plus 4y equals 10, I'm going to substitute in what I know about y, which is that y equals 1. So I've got 3x plus 4 equals 10. That means 3x equals 6. So x equals 2. Okay, so between these 3 steps, I found not just x equals 2, I also found earlier y equals 1. So the same solution I had before. If x equals 2 and y equals 1, both of those equations end up being true. Okay, so I do want you to notice you could have made different choices along the way. You could have been solving the second equation for y in step 1. You could have been solving the first equation for y. But as long as you follow this general process, you'll arrive at the answer at the end.